Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're unpacking a developing story involving three names you know well: Elsen, Sangu, Baris, Arduç, and Gups. As always on this channel, we focus on calm, detailed narration and make clear what is confirmed and what is still in the realm of rumor. If you enjoy respectful, balanced coverage that still gives you every angle, remember to like and subscribe. Now, let's get into it. Over the last month, Elçin Sangu has been working at full speed. She's been on a demanding series set by day, rehearsing with a prestigious theater team in the evenings, and carving out time to prepare for a special concert project that blends music with dramatic narration. Those who've seen her up close say the schedule is intense but energizing, exactly the kind of challenge that brings out her discipline and her trademark precision. None of this is surprising to longtime followers. Elçin's reputation has been built on a simple pattern. She shows up, does the work, and keeps the focus on craft rather than noise. Against this professional backdrop, a whisper started to circulate online and then rapidly grew louder, an alleged confrontation involving Baris, Arduç, and a man described by posters as the jealous lover of the actress. The phrase itself traveled fast, short, sharp, and designed to spark attention. According to these rumors, the tension centered on close scenes between Elsen and Baris, the type of on-screen moments that require trust, choreography, and professional boundaries. Within hours, the story had mutated into multiple versions: a heated argument outside a studio gate, a shove in a side street, a raised voice at a cafe, a ride-share door closing a little too hard. The details shifted with each retelling, but the core allegation stayed the same: someone in Elsen's private life was unhappy about her on-screen chemistry with Baris. Let's step back and organize what surfaced and how. First came a handful of cryptic posts from accounts that often comment on entertainment gossip. They referenced drama after a night shoot without naming names. Then a short, blurry clip appeared, a few seconds of people moving quickly near parked cars, a fragment of a sentence, headlights, and nothing else. The clip was ambiguous. It could have been a routine rap, an unrelated disagreement, or something more. But ambiguity rarely slows an algorithm. By the following morning, screenshots had spawned captions, captions had spawned threads, and threads had spawned certainty, at least for those eager to be the first to know. Baris's name entered the conversation as timelines stitched together locations where he had been working. Soon after, new claims attached the word confrontation to his movements. Meanwhile, other posts insisted he was simply tired, stepped aside to take a call, and kept moving. A few self-described witnesses contradicted each other within hours. One said there was shouting, another said it was just an urgent conversation. That's how rumor cycles work: tiny pixels of information expand to fill the whole screen. Then came the part of the story that pulled in Gups. Certain accounts floated the idea that tension around the rumor could be affecting Baris's relationship, speculating that the couple had disagreed about how to handle the noise. A handful of posts claimed they weren't speaking, others said they were simply stepping back from social media, something many public figures do when speculation spirals. None of these claims arrived with verifiable sources. Still, the possibility of relationship stress proved irresistible to headline writers and fan pages compiling clues from likes, follows, and silent timelines. Let's talk about the professional side for a moment, because it matters here. Close scenes, whether romantic, emotional, or confrontational, are the result of careful planning. Productions increasingly rely on intimacy coordinators, rehearsal protocols, and consent-based choreography to ensure performers feel safe and supported. Partners outside the industry sometimes need time to understand this process, but for performers and crews, the boundaries are clear: it's work. It doesn't matter how effortless a scene looks on screen, all that ease sits on top of preparation, marks, and clear communication. That's the context fans often don't see when a rumor reduces an entire day of craft to a single provocative frame. Back to the timeline. As the clip circulated, one outlet ran a piece under a dramatic headline that suggested turmoil. Another countered with a calmer take, quoting a crew member who said the night wrapped without incidents beyond the usual end-of-shift rush. Fans split into two camps: those who worried that something serious had happened, and those who urged everyone to avoid definitive claims without reliable statements. Meanwhile, Elsen stayed on schedule. She arrived on set, did rehearsal blocks, and was seen leaving with her team. The message, whether intentional or simply the result of her routine, was unmistakable: the work goes on. What about Baris? People close to productions he's attached to described him as focused and professional, keeping communication brief and respectful. There was no public statement clarifying the rumor, no midnight post feeding speculation, no hasty interview. And that silence fueled a second wave of commentary, because he did not address the gossip in real time. Some took it as evidence of something to hide, others took it as evidence of maturity, the choice not to light more matches when smoke is already filling the room. As for Gups, her name carried a different weight in this cycle. She has her own rhythms online, and longtime followers know she will sometimes disappear into work or step back for peace. That pattern didn't stop people from reading meaning into everything, every unposted story, every old photo in the grid, every tag that didn't appear. The truth is simpler. Couples set their own boundaries in the face of unwanted noise, and staying quiet can be a strategy to protect what matters. Without a clear, on-the-record statement, the responsible position is to acknowledge the speculation but refuse to elevate it to fact. Let's look at how the rumors shaped public conversation in the industry. A few actors and crew members took the opportunity to remind followers that on-screen intimacy is carefully managed. They spoke broadly, not naming anyone, about etiquette on set, about the role of trust in performance, and about the need for respect from everyone connected to a production: friends, partners, and fans. Those reminders reframed the narrative away from jealousy and toward professionalism, the very quality that fans often say they admire. There were also practical consequences. Security was briefly tightened around one exterior location, not because of confirmed danger, but because crowds had grown and curiosity can escalate unpredictably. Call sheets adjusted load-in times to reduce congestion at the gate. Publicists prepared templated language emphasizing safety protocols and respect for private lives, even if they never had to send it. In short, teams did what professional teams do: they anticipated, they de-escalated, and they kept the workday intact. Meanwhile, Elsen's schedule didn't let up. She kept splitting hours between the series, theater rehearsals, and music rehearsals. Colleagues described her as centered and methodical, the kind of presence that calms a room. That steadiness, years in the making, did more to neutralize the rumor than any post could. Fans noticed. Comment sections began filling with messages praising her focus and reminding others not to conflate character with person, or scripted closeness with personal life. There's a larger pattern worth noting here. In modern entertainment, the line between public and private can blur, but it is still a line. A rumor like this crosses it by using a performer's real relationships to interpret fictional ones, and by assuming that every off-camera moment must serve a storyline. The healthiest response, for audiences and for artists, is to separate the frames. What belongs to the work stays with the work, what belongs to private life stays private unless those involved choose otherwise. Where does this leave the three names at the center of the conversation? For Elsen Sangu, the takeaway is that professionalism remains her strongest shield. Time and again, she's demonstrated that consistency on set and courtesy off set quiet the loudest cycles. For Baris Arduç, the lesson is familiar: don't let speculation drive the agenda. Audiences remember performances and character over the noise that surrounds them. For Gups, it's a reminder that silence can be misread but also respected. It's a choice that many admire when the alternative is to feed a rumor mill that rarely gives back what it takes. As of now, there is no verified confirmation that a physical confrontation occurred, no official report that names anyone involved, and no on-the-record statement from the principals that supports the most dramatic version of the story. There are only fragments, interpretations, and the reality that on-screen partnership can be misunderstood outside the context of the work. If a clear statement arrives later, from a representative, a production, or the artists themselves, we will weigh it carefully. Until then, the responsible narrative is the one we've offered today: acknowledge the rumor, examine the context, and refuse to turn uncertainty into certainty just because uncertainty is exciting. Before we close, a word about empathy. Every person at the center of this conversation is balancing careers with personal life under a very bright light. That balancing act is difficult even for people who don't have cameras pointed at them. The most supportive thing fans can do is to celebrate the work, avoid amplifying unverified claims, and give the people they admire the space to be human. That, more than any click or comment, helps shape a healthier entertainment culture. Thank you for watching and for valuing careful storytelling. If this approach resonates with you, please like the video, subscribe, and consider joining our community for deeper dives done with respect and clarity. We will keep following Elçin Sangu's projects, Baris Arduç's upcoming work, and any official updates involving Gups. When there is something verified to say, you'll hear it here, calmly, clearly, and without the echo of rumor.